Welcome back to Around the Mage Table, episode 7. Welcome to all our new subscribers. I want to start today's episode off with a big thank you for those who don't know. Maximum, who is, I believe, the raid leader, maybe even the guild leader of Liquid, one of the world first raiding guilds, did a reaction stream to our last episode, which was where we talked about the Asmongold 3 bad takes. And we don't want to harp too much on it. I just want to say thank you to all of you who've subscribed. We greatly appreciate it. We found watching the stream, even with y'all live, we did most of it live, very, very funny. And honestly, there was some really good feedback. So I'll introduce everyone in case you forgot them. We got Shawnee over here, who's got a new microphone. How's the new mic, Shawnee?
I don't know. You tell me.
Sounds pretty clear, right? Maybe we won't get too loud. Technique seems to improve. Technique, how you doing today, bud?
Doing all right, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back.
Very cool. And you were a big hit with the crowd. And then, of course, Scrap Claw. Let's talk over her real quick.
Yeah, I didn't change anything about my setup.
Well, I think it was a lot of fun for all of us to get the feedback from y'all, and we have more subscribers with hopefully some more comments to come on today's episode and the upcoming ones. I do want to take a second real quick to just talk about our website, mythicdungeonleague.com. You can follow us on Twitter at League Mythic, and if you go to our website, you can join our Discord. The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we obviously we try to have as much fun as we can with all this stuff. And one of the things we like to do well is obviously not only just this podcast, but we like to run Mythic Dungeons. So if you ever are looking for a group that can run Mythic Plus with you, we're always available, even into the wee hours of a season that just doesn't feel like there's a lot of people around. Join our Discord, ask for a key. And then also, if you want to go back and watch some of our previous episodes of MDL, these are kind of MDI-styled events, but instead of doing just a simple team head-to-head, we try to make something outrageous out of it. I was going to ask you guys on the stream real quick, what was your favorite MDL event we've ever done? Oh, hold on. I'm going to come back here.
Frank, can I ask you to put your face on Discord too? It's a little weird listening to you without your face on my screen.
No, you can't.
We
it won't
never
work.
see him. Relax.
It won't work. Anyways, Shawnee, what was your favorite side?
Connect 4.
Connect 4. I thought that was a really good one. Yeah.
I know what my favorite is.
Well, let's go to Technique first.
Okay, Technique first.
No, go to Scrap first.
Yeah, Technique doesn't know what his favorite is.
Okay.
Shut up.
What's your Scrap?
Blind tank challenge. That was the best one. Two bear tanks blindfolded, the other side, different techniques for how they wanted to go through the dungeon. It was so funny.
That was absolutely wild, yeah.
My favorite.
All right, Technique, what about you?
I like the trivia question ones, man. I like involving people and getting them in there and do the trivia. I'm not good at trivia. I don't do well at it, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
I was
doing the questions and everything.
I didn't know anybody liked the trivia. It seemed like they hated us when you were asking these hard trivia questions.
Well, my answer was going to be the Connect 4. I really did enjoy that one a lot. But yeah, we got some new games coming up soon, I hope.
Yeah. We not only into the new season, but we're hoping to sneak one in right before the season ends. And I'll just say my favorite, I think recently, I'm not going to say it's my all-time favorite, but my favorite recently was the dragon racing episode we did, where we did like a scavenger hunt and sent everyone running around. That was a lot of fun.
I want to do another potato one also.
Yeah, hot potato.
We'll talk about that later.
Yep. Anyways, point is mythicdungeonleague.com. Join our Discord there. You can follow us on Twitter there. And then, of course, watch some of our previous episodes. We greatly appreciate it. And again, big thank you to everyone, including Max of Liquid. All right, today's episode, a lot to talk about. We probably won't have one singular big topic, but I wanted to kick off today talking about the War Within. Now, the rumors are that Alpha will start this Wednesday. There's some funny takes on Twitter about no one streaming until Wednesday because the rumor is that when the alpha will start. Beta signups went out today. And I just want to ask y'all, first off, did anyone pre-order? Because you get a free beta access with pre-order.
I did.
No.
So
I don't know if I did. I don't keep up with it. I think I did. You get them out when you pre-order, right?
You get...
It's like a dragon? Like a grass dragon or something?
I thought it was a bird, but...
oh, you're right. It's a griffin. Yeah. I have that, so I must have pre-ordered it.
Okay, so we got 2 that'll get in the beta and 1 that may get in the beta if you pre-order.
But you know me, I'm not gonna play the beta at all because I don't want to be spoiled.
But yeah, so that was my question. It was gonna be like, are any of you interested at all about going into alpha or even watching stuff on alpha or beta?
Zero interest. Completely zero.
No.
So I will be the only one watching.
I mean, that's how it was for Dragonflight, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
No, I always get excited. I mean, just because I want to see some of the new hero talents and how they actually look, because thematic was a big part of that for me. But I will most certainly play it, especially since season 4 might be a bit of a slog.
It takes too much away from the actual release for me. Like, I love getting everything at once and it being surprised.
Okay. But again, like not even wanting to hear about it, just like read about it.
I mean, I don't mind you telling me about it, but I'm not going to be looking up stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't usually keep up with any of that stuff.
Well, I don't keep up with anything, so that's different. But I mean, I don't mind you saying like, "Oh, did you know that like Calic Ghosts could be huge in the plot or something like that?" Like, I'm cool with that, like rumor stuff.
Rumors,
But
yeah.
like, I'm not gonna be looking up takes on Alpha or whatever.
Sean, I didn't hear. Did you say you were or weren't?
Alpha, I probably won't watch much, but I'll do some beta.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. All right, well, we'll move on to something that I wanted to not necessarily focus in on the actual news itself, which is Season of Discovery. Phase 3 just started, and I was I was very curious because a couple things have happened. First, the raid launched, and it was, I'm going to say too hard, but it wasn't really too hard. It was just very high healthed, which made it somewhat impossible to kill, it sounds like. And then, of course, they nerfed it up to like 50% nerfs of the health of the bosses in there. But there are some complaints going into Season of Discovery Phase 3. People are kind of complaining that's maybe a little leaning towards too much retail-based WoW. And, there's, I'm sure there's plenty to do, but like some of the secrets are now easily data mined, etc. But that's not what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to focus on the three of you because I think all three of you have started a character in Season Discovery, but didn't make it even out of Phase 1.
No.
Correct.
I didn't even know phase 2 was over.
Well, it just ended. It just ended, I think, last Thursday, maybe.
Okay.
So I want to ask that. So I'm going to start with Technique. Technique, I know you were big on Season Discovery when it was about to come out, and I think you actually played quite a bit. What happened?
Back up on that statement, because it wasn't exactly that. Okay, I was big on Hardcore Classic. I was enjoying that a lot. Yeah. I played the trash out of it, and then I died, and that was upsetting. So I kind of paused that play.
Hold on.
Because
what level,
SOD was coming out, right?
What level
I died
did you
at
die
59 3/4. Okay.
Yeah. That's important.
That's a different story. Yeah. That's a different story. So I was really excited about SOD just because like more of my friends would be playing Classic with me, and none of my current like WoW community friends were playing Classic Hardcore. So that's when at the time I was like real pumped and was like, let's go do SOD. And then it seemed to me like they basically trivialized the game. Everything was super easy. It was basically like all of the negative things of Classic, and it was so trivialized that it just wasn't fun for me, which is going to be a recurring theme for a lot of my answers, I think, right now, that might be coming tonight. It's not fun for me to just like do the thing. I want to be somewhat challenged as we're doing it, and that wasn't happening in SOD, so I stopped playing it.
So, I mean, it's hard. Okay. The schedule of like we played a ton of Hardcore Classic, and then we played SOD, and it's like it like in comparison, there's nothing as scary as almost dying in Hardcore, and then you go to SOD and you die that first time, and you're like, oh, doesn't even matter if I die, So it just, I think we played too much Hardcore Classic to really enjoy SOD because I got burned out on it quick. Just because we just did it like a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Obviously there's people enjoying it. So.
What about you, Sean?
I'm pretty much with Scrap. I was like, meh. I don't care if I die.
So for the two of you, it was the allure of the challenge of staying alive no matter what.
Dude, Hardcore Classic was so good. Like I love playing roguelike stuff, like and like when you're about to die in something where you're gonna lose everything, you have that literal fight or flight like response in your body, and then you go play SOD and you're like, oh, I would rather just play hardcore again than do this way, the stakes, there was no stakes, it didn't feel like, and not a lot of our friends are pushing the raid, had an interest in pushing the raid content, and it was kind of like, oh, we'll just play retail.
Do you think it was about the launch time? Like the launch
time was bad?
For me, it
definitely was. Maybe I played too much Hardcore Classic, but like I was burned out on Classic by the time it came out.
Okay. Well,
I think,
go on.
I was gonna say, I think all that's exactly true, and like all of the negative things of Classic, like hey, it takes too long to get from A to B, and You know,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
other things that you work toward in classic WoW are still, you know, the negative stuff is still part of SOD, but then like the fun and rewarding stuff, like achieving things, and I don't know, it just wasn't like every encounter in classic, especially hardcore classic, is a challenge to an extent because you can die. You know,
Well, I died
that
in.
doesn't
This is what set
happen in
me off.
retail anymore.
The fact that I
Um,
DC'd because of Spectrum's stupid midnight reset,
Oh
and
yeah.
I died at level 40, and
frustrating.
I was just like
Yeah.
tilted beyond. So, but like for me, season discovery was more about seeing the old raids and dungeons, but in a different light because they would be more challenging, and that got me excited. But I think, like, how far did you guys level? Because I was 23.
Yeah, I mean, I got up to like 20 something. I feel like it wasn't different enough. Like the first 10 levels were fun because you were like, oh, like this is new and I haven't seen this before and stuff. But once you kind of got the first couple powers, the rest of them were kind of like, oh, I don't even begin to know how to find this. So I'm going to have to look it up, you know, like something like that. And then it just felt like stuff was pasted on top of it. It didn't feel really integrated in a strong
like
way.
that.
Now, I didn't do the raid. It might have been better. I
Well,
don't
and
know, but that's my opinion.
one of the critiques of it right now is that they're just like taking spells and stuff from current retail and making them runes.
Yeah.
And so
I mean,
that's
yeah,
part of the problem.
it did feel very tacked on, which is fine. I mean, they got to figure out a way to keep selling us this package over and over again. But I'm just saying, like, you know, hardcore classic, that is great. Like, I would play that again right now. Like, I don't know, Season of Discovery 8, I don't think it was enough to kind of make me want to play it again.
Fair enough. What about when it hits level 60?
No, because I know
Because
I
that's
don't
when you'll
like
see the
either level
raids and
60
stuff.
on classic anyway.
Okay.
You know me, I love classic. I have a ton of nostalgic for it, but like I didn't end game raid when I was 17 playing classic. Like it was the leveling experience that was fun for me. Which I know I'm an outlier, but like I don't
I
have
don't
any
think you
nostalgia
are.
with raiding.
I don't
No,
think
maybe
you
I'm
are
not.
when it comes to that. Like
Well, hold
classic
on, hold on,
WoW,
hold
the
on, hold on,
leveling
hold on.
experience.
No, technique says I'm not. So
No,
let's
no.
follow
That's
that
not my
up.
problem. My problem is he said you're not alone, which last week
No,
you
I
were
said you're not an
arguing.
outlier. You're not an outlier.
Okay.
You're
Not an
alone in that.
outlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But last week you said everyone rated in classic, and that's what I. That was
What?
the appeal of it.
This week he
Did
feels
I?
differently. What's wrong
Okay,
with
fair
that?
enough. He got
I
swayed by
didn't
the
say
comments. Like,
everyone. I didn't say everyone rated in classic. I said
Oh,
if
you
you
would never say
did,
that.
you know
just have
how
to
it
clip it.
felt to be like one of 40.
Okay, fair enough. All right, but
Yeah.
overall, it just doesn't sound like even later. Because, you know, for me, I could see, all right, well, Season Discovery hits level 60, all those dungeons reopen, and hopefully they have some, you know, variations to them.
Personally, like I said, I love classic. It's huge nostalgia for me, but Seasons of Discovery, it's not. It doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. I can't describe why. It just doesn't quite do it for me. Maybe because hardcore classic was so fun. I don't know.
Dude, when you're running around as a druid with like Moonfire at level, not Moonfire, Starfire, and all the other like buffed up abilities, you cannot die. You're pulling the whole zone
Yeah, I
and you
mean,
can't die. Like that's unfun.
I died plenty
It
of
feels-
times, so I don't want
Yeah.
any leg to stand on.
Yeah.
What
I
are you,
don't know,
Shawnee?
man. I was playing a priest and cool abilities and stuff, but I couldn't. It was like really difficult to die.
I drowned one of my characters, so I don't want to talk about it.
I'm glad they have it for the people that want to play it, and I'm just
Mhm.
not one of them.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, one of our bigger stories this week, which actually just was announced, I want to say on Thursday, right when the PTR for 10.2.7 came out, was something called WoW Remix. And Scrap, do you know anything about this? I figure you're the one that's going to be.
Is this a Pandaria thing?
It is.
I mean, I'm looking at the article you have up, so I'm kind of cheating, but
Yeah. But here's.
I mean, I kind of know. Yeah, I did. I read a bit of the article because I'm interested.
Okay, so
in
you did read. Okay, this is like
Well,
one of
no,
the
I
only
didn't-
things
hold
you've
on,
ever
hold
read.
on.
So
I didn't read the whole article. I like skimmed it and I read the title. Like, okay, you can explain it. That's fine.
So, I don't think they've announced when it will launch during season 4, but it'll launch essentially in the dog days of the expansion, right? And I did jump on the PTR and test it a little bit, but I'll try to give a quick summary of what it is. It is effectively a new leveling experience that will be isolated at first, that will then merge back into the retail client. You will start at level 10 and you can level all the way up to level 70 with characters from the Dragonflight expansion. And what I mean by that is you can play an Evoker, you can play, you'll have the town trees of this expansion, etc. in it, right? So you won't be playing the version of that from Mists of Pandaria. You, instead of getting the traditional sense of loot and, grays and things to vendor, you will always constantly be getting these caches that will either contain a upgrade piece of gear, gems, and I'll go into those in a second, or bronze, as well as little buffs that will buff your legendary cloak that you use in this event, okay? So let's start with that legendary cloak. That legendary cloak will hold a ton of your stats, your main primary stat, your secondary stats, some of the tertiary stats like speed, as well as a leveling buff, all right? Now, from what we could see, I think it goes up to 364%. So you can have up to 364% leveling increased, as well as, of course, your rested experience. And the idea, it sounds like to me, is that as you level, it will not only get faster, and it's pretty fast to begin with. Like I leveled to level 25 in like an hour and a half or something like that. But if you want to do another alt, they will just fly through content, right? They'll just be like leveling every quest kind of thing. On top of that, I mentioned the gems. So instead of getting gear that would just be varying in, kind of different themes and whatever, you'll just have kind of the same sets of gear, but you'll socket them with gems, and you can upgrade them with that bronze currency I was telling you about. And then, just make them stronger and stronger and stronger. And again, the strength kind of gets out of control very quickly. And then on top of that, while you're leveling, instead of having to do the standard leveling where you can't go to this zone until 62, or you can't go to this zone until 64, you pretty much can go anywhere you want very quickly. Like I think within the first 10 levels, you're open to like the new zone and everything like that. But you can also do raids and heroic dungeons and scenarios to quickly level as well. So for all those people that didn't get a chance to raid in Mists of Pandaria, that want to see one of the best, raids in Throne of Thunder, and some people even argue the Siege of Orgrimmar, you get to see those now, and I think they can do Looking for Raid, of course, and 10 level or 10 player heroic. So I say all that, so in and of itself, that's pretty exciting, but you also can get a ton of like mounts and stuff. So you use bronze to purchase it, and there's, I think, a total 32.
What, you get Galleon Saddle? Scroll down again. I
You
always
can
wanted that.
You can get a ton of mounts. So there's, again, I think there's like 25 of them.
What? Oh
But
no,
you-
that's a rare. Okay. Oh, it's available for the vendor. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, never mind. That's so cool.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, the bronze they're saying is going to take forever to get.
No, you have no idea. That's like one of the hardest mounts to farm in the game. Like,
Okay,
so
we'll hold on to that
so
thought.
I've always wanted it, so that's really cool.
But you can also get a ton of transmog. So you can get every single set, as far as I can tell, with exception to the challenger sets. The challenger sets were like the precursor to Mythic Plus, if anyone remembers. And you cannot get those sets, but you can get every other one. There are recolors of sets from that expansion. There's also recolors of, the class sets they put on the trading post. So there's recolors of that one.
I love that.
And then, of course, there's a ton of toys, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So I think I've done a good job of explaining what it is.
Yeah, pretty thorough.
I quickly want to get a pulse at a scale 1 to 10. Shawnee, how excited are you?
25.
Okay. Scrap.
I'm up there. 10, I would say.
Okay. Technique.
He doesn't care. He doesn't give a crap.
I can appreciate that, people are into this type of thing. I'm not one of them. A lot like Shawnee was saying earlier, man. I don't really care for leveling a bunch of characters at the speed of light with 0 difficulty. If you're like a mount collector or like a transmog collector and you want to look like a panda guy, that's cool. Go
Yeah, but
play
technique,
this.
if you want to level another character, like,
I don't. Why would I? I have the perfect character.
you have enough.
So you're not an
As an-
alcoholic.
Hypothetically,
No,
you wanted
I'm not.
to.
Well, the bigger thing, like, yeah, I might at some point want to level an alt. Probably not. But if I did, I want it to be fun, not just something that I do. And again, this is going to be a recurring statement.
But if this at least, like, let's say you don't find leveling experience fun at all, you still have to do it. At
Well,
least this is rewarding.
Let him finish his thought.
Oh, sorry. Finish your thought, technique. I'm so sorry. I'm a steamroller. You know it.
So like the rewarding thing, that's a good thought. Like I said, if you're like a appearance collector or like a mount collector, that's your thing. This is for you. You'll have fun. But everyone that does this is gonna have every one of those things. That's not gonna be
Okay,
special
so
anymore. You know?
the
So to
special
me, it's
part of
like,
it is a problem. I get it. Okay.
yeah. I mean, like if I can buy the mount for $25, I don't want it. I don't even want it.
Yeah. I
No
mean, there's a
matter how
lot of
much
people
money I
that I
have,
think side with you on that.
because everyone has it that has $25, and even if you go and show it off, they're like, "Oh, you spent $25. Like, now you got that mount." Like, it's just a little bit of, I don't want that. I don't care about it. So like mounts that you used to earn, and you could only get them by doing cool stuff. That's what I like. That's what I want more of in the game.
Okay. All right, Scrap.
Okay, I have a lot of opinions about this. Okay,
I'm
I
actually
really, really
most
love
excited
it.
about Shawnee's, but we'll put his best for last.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love this. I don't level characters often, but when I think there's a lot of awesome stuff in the game, like leveling experiences, like that is missed out on. Like, they have so much content that they could be pushing, giving it back to you, and it's just like they don't, because it's like you want to level the fastest. There's like routes that you go through and stuff. I love that I like when I do pick leveling a character, where I decide to level normally depends on what I'm getting out of it. Like, for example, I leveled in Legion on my Death Knight so I could get the sick, like, end of class hall dragon that looks like Sindragosa. Like, I
Yep.
had that in mind that I'm like, oh, like, while I'm leveling this character, I'm also gonna be working towards this goal. I get to enjoy the Legion story. I've never enjoyed it before. So, like, this kind of checks all my boxes. It's like, okay, we're giving this back to you. Like, big motivation to kind of like, if you missed out Pandaria, you want to revisit it. It's like you have a lot of motivation to kind of re-experience it, and also you're going to be rewarded the whole time. So I think that's super cool. I do have one question, and maybe this is going to answer what you're pulling up right now. Like, for example, I have a character who's level 60 that I never leveled to 70 because I don't know. I'm just like, I have a problem. I'm just too many characters at 70 already. And I don't want to do the Dragonflight story again. Can I jump into Pandaria at level 60 and level 60 to 70?
No.
Okay, that
But
sucks.
I will say this.
Yep.
It might take you equally as long to do this
I know
whole thing.
that really does motivate me. Like, I might delete that character and start
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't care.
I think
I'd
I'm going
rather
to
do
delete
this.
maybe one or two, because the truth is, like, just doing it without any of the inherent buffs from the cloak that you build up as you play through will probably take so long. But once you do it and get, 'cause, okay, so for example, what I've seen on stream, people were getting up to 300% leveling. But once you get that and then you try again with a new character, you're going to be flying. I mean, hours, then you'll be level 70 kind of thing.
See, for me, I like to enjoy leveling. Like, I don't always enjoy leveling, but I like to enjoy it. So, like, when people are like, "Oh, like the fastest way to level is to like slam through dungeons and get the most experience," like, I don't like that isn't fun for me, right? So even if it takes longer, I want to enjoy my time, which for me is doing quests, reading them, learning the story, watching the cutscenes, blah blah blah. It might take me twice as long, but like I would rather start at 10 to 70 than slog through Dragonflight again 60 to 70,
And you
even if it
didn't
takes me 5 times as long.
and you didn't play Mists at all.
I never played Mist. That's the only leveling story I've never done, like never touched, which is kind of
That's
bizarre.
shy.
Yeah, Shawnee's about to burst. I'll let him have
All
it.
right,
No,
yep.
you're
No,
okay.
we'll come back to you, Scrap. All right, Shawnee, hit us with the truths.
I'm couldn't be more excited. Missed 100% my favorite expansion. When they put that farm in and I could go farm every day, I was like just this happy little farmer pulling weeds and stuff.
That's the
and
one
just the idea of
thing.
it. Dude, I loved my farm. It had
Just
some of
farming.
the best transmog, in my opinion. And I just love the idea of them being like, all right, we're gonna take this expansion that a lot of people say they took off, and we're gonna like make it so you can play through it again. And I'm always saying to people, I'm like, I wish WoW would use old content in some way for people to be able to enjoy it. I understand what Technique's saying. I totally appreciate the idea of like things being given to people and easier, and so I'm excited. I'm already thinking of like how many characters I'm gonna level through it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a big party, right? Yeah.
Oh, I will play this. I'll like with everyone.
I'm sorry you
I
didn't
don't
get a
like
chance to
to.
test
I
on the
don't like
Putero.
to. I don't want to feel
Right.
rushed. Everybody's always rushing me when we're
I'm
doing
not even
quests
gonna rush it.
together.
I'm just like, I will play through this like 10 times.
Yeah.
Put you guys on this side.
I will say I do think this is good content for the more casual player, like the mount collector, the person who solo games and stuff, because it might encourage them to try a new character. If they like always played one or two characters the whole time, it's like this encourages them to like follow that collecting like
Mhm.
trail and like while leveling and learning a new class.
I
So
think-
I think that's great for the community.
And I think it'll be equally as exciting for the I'm not gonna say the hardcore player, but like the person who wants to raid and all that stuff, because there will be, I mean, I hope they tune it correctly, but there will be some challenging content, it sounds like. And you know, it may not be mythic level, but maybe for us it'd feel challenging. And it's gonna be some really good raids, right? There's I think a total of 4 different raids. You can actually 5, because there's like a two boss raid or something like that. Raids that you can go into and, you know, really sink your teeth into. And on top of that, there's elements of Season of Discovery in there, where there's going to be these, so the way that the gems work is there's not only the stat ones, like the haste and whatever, right? But there's also like a Tinkerer socket, which you can put a spell into that makes you move faster, or you can use like Phaeline, what's the travel form for not Night Elves,
Night Fae.
yeah, what was that travel form? You can like get that
I don't
spell,
know.
the one that you
Shape
could
shift or
turn.
whatever.
Yeah, and then you know, there's like all these new spells that they have. Where I was watching another stream and they were doing one of the bosses, and I don't know how it worked. I just kind of was like paying attention, but they were like echoing damage off of mobs back onto the boss, and they killed the boss within 2 seconds, right?
I'm deleting my Death Knight and I'm starting over.
There you go, right?
From the beginning. Like I
would
this.
love it. I would love it if they did it for like all the expansions. I would
So-
do all of them like that.
So
I'm very excited for that because for me, Pandaria is like not my baby, but I definitely have like leveling stories. Like I love Cataclysm and the Cataclysm zones, and
Yeah.
I would die if I could do like all of Cataclysm again. So
well, and so that's the thing I also wanted to touch on, because there's a really good video back from Shadowlands, for those who follow Taliesin and Evatail on YouTube, where Taliesin essentially makes the plea for Chromie time was not enough. We really need to be able to experience the entire expansion in the leveling experience. Now,
Yeah.
they wanted a more, and I think we even talked about this last week with
We
the bloats, but like they wanted a more curated experience, and you know, you'd kind of scenario your way through raids. But the truth is, this could still work very well, even if it's an LFR version of the raid, where you have 10 other random people who are leveling. But this, I think, is a huge step in that direction, where we are going to have Chromie time that is actually Chromie time. And I would love it, because I mean, even I love the idea of doing the Old Or time walking raid, Black Temple time walking raid, all that stuff. But I just like, I don't think you can looking for raid it. Like you have to kind of form a group manually and all that stuff. And I would love to be able to do things like the Legion raids. I thought the Legion raids were so good. You know, even Warlords of Draenor, which honestly wasn't flat out, was a terrible expansion in my opinion. Mostly because of the content drought. In fairness, there was like such a long drought. But like Hellfire Citadel was such a good raid. I would love to go back and do it. And this would give me the opportunity to do it without having to worry about like, are we going to be successful or not? Because honestly, I don't care if it's super easy. I just want to kind of be able to go through the motions of it and say, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it, and yada, yada, yada. So I'm excited too, just for the possibility of what this brings in the long term.
I wonder if it'll be awkward though, like if the only raiding people will be doing is kind of like LFR, because it's like, how are we gonna get 15 of our friends together who are all level 50? You know, we'd have to really plan around it.
Well, it scales, because you can get into the first raid here. Let's pull it up. The first raid you can get into at
play
level
all of them
25.
at level 70. Yeah.
Oh, you can. It like balances people out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's cool. I
Well,
love
it
that.
doesn't need to balance it because all the bosses just fall over when you look at them.
Okay, Technique. You're such
But you
an
get to
naysayer.
experience it, which is really cool.
and
I mean, it's
that's
better. So it's better
the
than doing a. Go ahead. Yeah.
well, that's the looking for raid version of it. Once you hit level 70, they all unlocked heroic versions of them. So that's
like,
the ones where you'll actually have to do stuff.
Think about how people currently experience these raids. They're only doing it for transmog mount farms, and
By
the
themselves.
bosses literally do fall over when you touch
I
them.
agree,
So it's like this is better, an improvement.
Absolutely, yeah. And so they're like, just to touch base, because I hadn't talked to you for a minute. So to touch base on something that Shani said, like, it is really, there's so much content in the game that just doesn't get touched anymore. So it is great that they get to bring some of this back and let people play it. I never played Myths, so there's the only real reason that I might pick it up and like play it. But again, like if I'm walking through, like, you know, swinging, monkey kicking everything, and it just dies. Like, I'm probably gonna lose interest pretty quick because it's just not fun for me. But I do like that, people that haven't experienced, they get to go back and try it and play it at least at some capacity.
Nick, how about you heal and I'll keep it interesting for you?
Yeah, I bet you would.
I think it's a good idea for them to try more things because, like, the more things available, the less people will get bored of WoW overall.
Totally agree.
It's like
I think
Plunderstone. Like, I
Plunderstorm.
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't play it a ton, but it's still like I was logging in.
You didn't
Yeah.
play it a ton yet. It's still happening, right?
By the way,
Yeah.
two notes on that. One, they added trios. That's awesome. And two, remember we talked about how they would double the experience or reputation gain. They did that this week, so you got double experience now. You can get to renown 40 quicker.
They need to add
there
40
you
more
go.
renown levels now.
Wait, something else got twice as easy?
Relax, Technique.
Jesus.
You're not gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
what
only
got
for those
twice as
people who
hard?
wanted the whatever. I'm not
The
going
Pirate
down.
Awards.
I'm not going down this path.
I'm glad to talk about Plunderstorm, but not if he's gonna hate on it, because I'll get angry.
Anyway, yeah. I'm Frank, I could not be more excited. Like, I want to play this with you guys so bad.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blast. I feel like it's gonna be and again, we're gonna talk about season 4 in here in a second, but like I think it's gonna hit right at the perfect time in season 4 when we're T-minus 2 months or whatever until the expansion. They give us the launch date and they say, okay, here's Pandemonium or WoW Remix or whatever they're calling it. And then we'll just have a chance to level up some characters. Maybe even you may even find your new main in this process, right?
Yeah.
Scrap, you've talked about your DK as a new main for a little while.
I know I've been talking about it, but who knows?
Yeah, I'll tell you, playing my Frost, I'm not in love with it anymore.
I'm different than you, though. I'm built different.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, and then on top of that, like there is variation to it that it's not the same mist that I leveled in, even during the current expansion, or even if I chose to do it in Chromie time. So there's and think about it, like in Chromie time, you still have to follow this path pretty rigidly. In this, like you have to maybe for like 10 levels, which again flies by. Your web opens up so quickly to do, scenarios, dungeons, and all that stuff. Yeah, I think it's gonna be absolutely
They don't
awesome.
have a release date on this or what?
No, they just put it
I
up on
wanna play
PCR
this
like
right now.
2 days ago.
There's a map, what's the thing called? Like a
Roadmap.
Oh yeah, I've seen the
roadmap,
roadmap.
and
Yeah.
it's there's no dates on it, but you can see what is coming after and what is coming before.
Man, I still wish this was like right now because I kind of want a refresher. I want to play a new character for season 4 because like I don't want to do the same tier sets again personally, but I don't want to level a damn character.
You won't have
That's
to.
me.
Didn't you get a boost with the expansion pre-purchase?
Yeah, but I used it on a paladin, which I don't want to
Okay.
play. I only use it on my paladin because I really wanted to change her transmog, and I don't want to level her. And her name is good, so.
All right, so 2 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down, and I have a feeling at least
I'll
Technique you're
probably
gonna.
still play it.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
you will. When you see us all having so much fun in Isle of Thunder, you're gonna be playing
I mean,
it.
I've been playing the freaking game for 20 years, man.
Did you
I'm
play
probably
Mists?
Gonna play it. No, I just said this.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't
sorry,
play Mists.
I don't listen to you.
Oh. I didn't play Mists. I probably will play it mostly because of the timing. We're gonna be sitting here repeating raids and waiting on the War Within.
And Helldivers just ain't doing it for you anymore.
No, Helldivers is doing it just fine, man. I'm loving that dive. But yeah, it's time to get back to WoW, man. I'm excited to get back into it.
Okay, so time to get back. Let's talk season 4. We had a previous episode where we talked about the PTR. It honestly went pretty quickly. We got our season 4 start date, which is not this coming Tuesday. Actually, the episode will launch on Tuesday. So a week from today when the episode launches, the 23rd, I think it is. And let's cover it real quick, just in case as a refresher. 8 of the original Dragonflight dungeons will be the main rotation of dungeons. There will be no seasonal fix again, which means 4 of the dungeons we did originally with the seasonal fix will feel a little bit different because of that. They've combed through a lot of those dungeons to clean up a lot of the painful things. They made some things more painful. And then, of course, we have the 3 raids, which will all launch on a weekly basis. So first week will be Vault, then there'll be Abyss, and then there'll be Amir Drasil, and they'll just rotate. You will get Booleans, which can be used to buy gear from the raids that will be, I think, upgradable fully to the highest level Mythic. You can still get the legendaries. It is essentially the greatest hits of Dragonflight. There will be no Dawn of the Infinite split dungeons in the Mythic Plus pool, but it will be getting a hard mode that is kind of, I guess, revamped. And again, greatest hits of Dragonflight. I have heard a lot of takes that, especially, okay, let's rewind for a second. Shadowlands. This is when they first did that greatest hits season, okay? And it was kind of presented as we really want to move on. This is not going well. But we also know that if we don't finish the beta and whatever for Dragonflight, like we need to give you guys something to do. And they gave us this essentially for Shadowlands, and everyone's like, okay, cool. The Mythic Plus dungeon pool was changed because they were testing what would ultimately become the new system for Mythic Plus of having random dungeons brought back instead of doing the main ones. So this will be the first time we see all 8 of the Dragonflight dungeons together. But otherwise, it was essentially just revisiting the raids. They weren't really that as hard as they were the first time around, maybe because we already knew them, maybe because gear was a little better, I don't know. But they did it again this expansion, which is kind of like a little bit of a shock because they were doing so well with content delivery throughout Dragonflight. So I'm interested, and I'm going to start with Shawnee again, to hear what is your excitement level, 1 out of 10, or 1 to 10, for Season 4?
5.
Okay. So, meh?
And like, I'm excited to play with all my friends.
Yeah.
That part is a 10. Redoing everything I've already done for the past however long. Less excited. Only excited because it's with you guys.
Okay. I want to come back to that redo content. All right. Scrap, 1 out of 10 or 1 to 10.
I give it a 5 also. Like, but I'm not disappointed. Like, I think a 5 is okay for this. I don't think everything needs to be a 10, right? Like, 5 is like enjoyable enough to play a bit, but I'm not going to be staying up until 5 in the morning, which is probably better for my health.
Yes.
Yes. You know, but I would say a positive 5, like a 5, but like I'm not like upset. Like 5 is fine. 5 is cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Technique.
I'm gonna just kind of sit on the boat at a 5 as well. Probably maybe a 4.5. You know.
Ooh, he's bringing it down.
I've been bringing this whole cast down. I'm sorry, man. But I wanted to. There are several good things that I really do like. I like the dungeon rework. You know, the dungeon difficulty
Cleaning them up.
reworks. I like that Mythic 0 is still not timed, but it's Mythic difficulty. Like you don't just breeze through it.
Well, we hope not. Yeah.
Well, you know, everything they're saying here, it says heroic difficulty and rewards are moved to the current level of Mythic 0. So, like, you're going to queue up for heroic difficulty and it'll feel like you're in a Mythic 0. When you do a Mythic 0 and the rewards are move up to what's currently a Mythic 8 to 10 keystone, that's going to feel new and challenging and difficult, but it will still be untimed on an M0, which is, I think, a great change because it will introduce a lot of the people that, like, want to maybe try it. You know, I got a buddy who works with me. He's older to the game.
Is it Leo?
No, but
Kidding.
he's like a Leo. You know, he like wants
There's
to
our callback to
game.
Leo.
Those are like
Leo
a lot,
adjacent.
but he's not like a mythic dungeon or a mythic or a heroic raider. You know, he just wants to improve at the game, but doesn't want to. You know, especially as a tank, there's a lot of anxiety that comes in where you don't quite know all the routes and stuff, and you don't want to be in a time pressured environment to get the challenge that you can only get in M+. So I think M0 being more along the difficulty of a M10, but without a timer, is good for that audience of players. I do like that.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say I'm excited to go and revisit some of these dungeons from the expansion, but I'm not really excited about raiding all of these same raids again.
Okay, hold on. I want to, while we're on that topic. Okay, Shawnee, Scrap, Tech. Most excited to see dungeon, least excited to see dungeon. Shawnee, kick us off.
Oh.
Most excited to see probably Nakud. I love flying around in there.
Nakud was good, I think. Least?
Ruby.
Oh.
I was gonna say Ruby's the one I'm most excited for.
Okay, so Scrap Ruby. What about yours?
Probably Azure Vaults.
Especially since they changed the
there's no
leapfrogging.
skipping anymore, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I hate that.
Tech.
I loved tanking as your vaults, man. All the big ass pulls in there. I loved it. You know, I do miss. I'm going to miss. I think the skip. You know.
Yeah, the skip.
But it was a lot of fun to tank that. I actually really loved Ruby life pools too.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It was fucking tragic, dude. You get in there and like
You think you're like 10 minutes ahead of the timer, and
Everything
Pull
hurts.
the dude out of the sky.
Yep.
Least favorite Nakud, man. Nakud.
What?
Ooh.
See, I love Nakud too, so
I love
could
to
never...
play it. Yeah, I did. I loved it. All his dungeons were really good.
That's the other one where the
Dragonflight
last
dungeons
boss.
were very good.
Yeah, I agree. I love all the Dragonflight dungeons.
All right. So my score for excitement, I'm actually going to say I'm at a 4.
Oh, okay.
So I thought about this. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I probably would have said like a 6 or 7. I'm like, you know what? The truth is that, and to the point Shawnee was making, I think earlier, the fact that I think we're complaining, and I say complaining very loosely. I know not a lot of people are complaining about it, maybe just some people, but like every other expansion would have the same dungeons, all fucking expansion. You know, maybe one more was added, maybe 2 more was added, but like it was just like always. And then to have this happen, like that doesn't really bother me. But I am a little worried that the gearing is going to be really fast because of the booleans and honestly the changes they made to upgrading your gear. And that the competitive, you know, I just want to be the best mage, I can be best tank, I can be blah, 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 just won't be there. And it honestly will be probably like, so I say 7 going into the first 3 weeks. We do the first 3 raids. We see them one more time. We give them their moment in the sun. And then we say, we're done. And then everything's just going to fall apart. Like, we're just not going to play. Like right now, I'm logging on maybe to do 1 or 2 dungeons, one on Frank. And then, you know, I did one on Shamrock this week. And you know, like Scrap hasn't been existent, I think, other than Roller Coaster Tycoon. Shawnee,
you know me, I gotta push, like, I gotta be pushing something, and my score hit a point where I was not skilled enough to go beyond, and it hasn't changed in 3 months, so.
Shawnee, I mean, like, you've been gearing up for season 4 of Diablo, so that will probably take you away almost immediately. And they have a date for that yet?
Yeah, can't remember the date, but I know
Is it May?
It's there.
Is it May though?
I think so. I don't remember the date.
So,
I just know I'm looking forward to it. It's
3
not
weeks
gonna take
in.
me away, but like I don't care if I raid this expansion at all. Like
May 14th.
Yeah, I'm really excited to like play with you guys and do dungeons and do like this Miss Pandaria thing.
Yeah.
But raiding,
but the Miss
I'll be
Pandaria
like,
thing's entirely devoid of season 4.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just excited to do that. Like,
yeah, we'll
I'd
play the
rather do that
game.
than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking with, I think it was Lick in Discord. Like, I really feel like we don't need to. This game doesn't need to have Coco Melon levels of engagement with its player base
Is that the term?
24/7. You know Coco Melon?
Yeah.
For kids. Yeah,
I have kids. I'm very familiar with it.
You know, like they get stuck to the screen, and it's like they have to be transfixed this whole time. Like, you know, it's cool to play the game casually, like,
or not to play it at all.
Or yeah.
You know, to find something else to do.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's like there's going to be a dropout of player base leading up to the expansion. That always happens, right? Like they expect that because they know there's going to be a huge boom when the new expansion comes out.
Mhm.
So I think it's okay. You know, they're probably being smart. They're like, this is for the people who want to get together on Tuesday nights, hang out with their friends. That's what we want to do, you know. So I think it's fine. I like this part of the WoW expansion because it's like chill. I can level another character, you know, I can.
So you're happy they do this?
Whatever. I like it because I have an addiction problem with this game, and if there's constantly like I want to push up my score or AOTC for some people, I guess, whatever, PvP, like I won't sleep. So I need the break, like, to try play other games.
Okay.
And
Okay.
just speaking from somebody who has
a hot
no
take there.
self-control. I don't know if it's a hot take. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have trouble with addiction with this game. Like if like you're online and your score is creeping up higher than mine, you know me, I'll stay up till 5 in the morning.
Yeah, no, I can't do that anymore. I literally I'm like in bed by midnight now.
So and my work schedule is like kind of later than most people. So it's like I give into that behavior. So I like to, when they're not always trying to like
make a big deal out of it.
Like stick the needle in my arm.
I wanted to ask Technique because like the other point I was going to make on it too, where I think those plateaus coming from is like Helldivers was the example I was going to give, but there'll be other games. You know, like there's that the really hard Diablo clone Technique. You know the
Rest for the Wicked.
Yeah, right. Like there's these games that are coming out that I think will pull people in our community away. Honestly, it's definitely feeling a little more quieter in our Discord as of late. And that makes me sad. Now, I get, and I want to like honestly support it because there are not really many other games I want to play right now. But maybe it's best I'm not always playing games either.
Yeah, I think you don't always need to play a game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I can definitely like sympathize with that. But at the same time, I feel like it's so unfair for us to criticize what we're getting, because any other expansion we would have gone, like, I mean, again, I brought up Warlords of Draenor. We would have gone, I think it was like 14 months, the end of the expansion, where nothing happened.
Yeah.
And at least they're trying to give us something. Now, again, you could argue we should have 4 seasons. That's what, Legion had. And that's what I think even, maybe not BFA, but they had 4 raids. All that kind of jazz. But I mean, I don't know. And my favorite, looking forward to, I think Ruby is going to be my number one. Nakud is right there. I'm not looking forward to Uldaman or Neltheris.
Oh, I forgot about Uldaman. I don't like Uldaman.
Yeah.
I like Neltheris though. I think the aesthetic is cool. I hate that they took out the chains though, because that was the only fun part of Neltheris.
Well, they changed it. I mean, it could still be fun.
To be, they just take more damage and from every source.
Like we were talking about, Frank, I think I'll like it in practice because it was super frustrating to have to like kind of time my cooldowns around when I was supposed to be doing the chain. Like, and I
Well,
would
you're
be
gonna have to time them
about
now.
it. Well,
because you want to do that
know.
50% increased damage.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, it's gonna be worse because I have to wait for your dumbasses to get the chain.
And I'm gonna lose my mind because as an arcade mage, I'm sitting there going like power, 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 and then it's just missed, and I'm gonna be like, fuck you, Scrap, as you get 8 million DPS.
I don't like stuff that messes with my shit. You know what I mean? Like I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I like it when it like stuff supports me in that. I don't like when I have to wait, especially on big ass packs like that. I'm getting antsy. So the chains, they were fun when they just like you blasted through a pack in like 1 second. It was like, oh, dude, we saved so much time. But I don't like the part where I have to hold like my cool because I'm not good at holding my cool.
What's your cooldown again? What was the 45-second one that you love so much?
Explosive shot. I get roasted for that. The reason I don't like explosive shot is because I have to kind of get it out of the way.
All right.
But yeah, no, I'm not good at holding cooldowns. This is why I play the classes I play, where you don't have to worry about that as much.
Do you guys not feel like the greatest hits, even if it's, because again, we're gonna have Pandemonium hopefully within 2 months. Do you think the greatest hits aren't, doing the raid one more time feels like, okay, I like that.
Well, I didn't get to say I really enjoyed it in Shadowlands when we got to do the raid rotation, because Nathru is the best raid in the whole expansion.
They're still doing that.
Yeah, I know that they're still doing that. So I'm happy to revisit the old raids. I thought it was really fun. Every week we do something different. It felt a little easier, like you said, and I thought that was good because it's like I don't want to like prog through it again. I want to enjoy it again.
Shawnee, you shook your head no.
Shawnee hates raiding.
Raid.
Yeah,
I do, but I'll still do it the first time through, but I won't do it a second time through.
Some backstory: every season, Shawnee says, "This season, guys, I'm not gonna raid," and then he raids the whole time, and he's just upset about it.
Well, he's miserable because of us.
Not gonna raid. Well, we are miserable 100%. To raid with. No, I'm Shawnee. You're
Shawnee,
right. You're completely justified.
Is it safe to say that you're miserable because Leo's in the raid?
No.
He's miserable. He's miserable.
You know what it is? Honest to goodness, what drives me in raid is I know how good everyone can be, and I know how much a handful of people would rather do the meters and screw mechanics, and then we wipe, and I'm wasting my time. And then when they actually do the mechanics and we complete it, I'm like, well, we could have done this 3 attempts ago.
We're not great at listening, or if there's like a whole mechanic like on Jailer, like our raid completely falls apart.
Mechanic.
Like, personal responsibility is a huge problem in our raid, but I like our casual kind of raiding. Like the wiping doesn't bother me too much. I'm there to have fun. I'm there to be rude. I'm the problem a lot of the time.
I feel like I'm again 7 out of 10. The greatest hits, 3 weeks of just let's see it all one more time before we have to put it in the vault. And then of course it's just gonna go cliffside and it's gonna be like a 1. Tech, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a hater, man. Like, no, I'm not really looking forward to redoing all the content, but I'm not hating on what they're doing with the game. Blizzard's in a tough spot right now. They just got, acquired by Microsoft. They're firing a bunch of people. They probably don't have a whole lot of like manpower to go and actually do what we would all like them to do, which is just make classic WoW, but with new graphics and stuff. That's what we're all really hoping for.
Okay.
No, I don't want that. I don't-
But yeah, man, like, you know, I can't easily get excited about like just doing the same stuff again. I think
Says the
there
man
could be
who
other
wants to do
really cool
classic.
things. Nah, I get that. You know what I really do like though, man? I loved Torghast. I just wish it wasn't like its own thing. I would really love to see, like, I want to go into Mythic Dungeons, but with like roguelike runs. I want to go in and get like roguelike rewards for that run
That could
and
be,
just experience it that way.
even if it's like a season 4 thing where
so
it's on its own
Yeah,
for a little
just
bit.
throw in some like Torghast style like buffs throughout the dungeon, like a regular M plus.
Isn't
and
that
then, like,
stuff
your
like known as
rewards.
roguelite? What's the type of game style
Yeah.
like Hades was?
Roguelite.
Dungeon
Yeah.
dungeon crawler roguelite.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, just like some fun stuff. If you're gonna make it fun, like do something like that that's not gonna screw up the whole rest of the game. And then I don't know. I want to see more like tertiary stats. Like I like getting the subtle bonus of like a little bit of speed or a little bit of like lifesteal or something. Let's get like some different tertiary stats that aren't
You didn't like the
game-changing, but they're
undead
fun to
damage
work
one
for.
from Dawn of the
Gorhal.
Infinite. Yeah, Gorhal.
The demon damage, right?
That did nothing for anyone.
I still wanted it because
No,
it was
not
sick.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think there's other things they could be doing to give us something fun to do, reuse old content. Like hell, let's just rerun dungeons that are, but like make it fun and not necessarily part of the competitive game. I don't know.
That's
Why
what they're doing
don't
with
they-
the Panda stuff.
Why don't they re-release a raid? Like give us
It would be
a
cool
tuned
if they-
version of Hellfire Citadel or whatever it is.
Yeah, I would love that. Like, yeah, I would love that. That'd be awesome. Even
I
if it
think-
was just like halfway through season 4. Okay, you guys are sick of this rotation. Let's do a rotation of like Pandaria raids or something like that.
And
you
I
know,
think
for
this
a couple
goes back
weeks.
to the manpower argument, because I don't think that there are that many people working on this content, so it's not taking away from anything. And you know, honestly, I might be not of the mass opinion here, but like I think people would be forgiving to see a Hellfire Citadel that's not tuned very well, and you know, not like horribly off base, but like not tuned to the perfection in a season 4 content drought where I'm like, okay, well, yeah, we killed him a little bit easier than we expected, but it's not the end of the world. I got to still see all the mechanics and still had to do the boss correctly.
I think it needs to be tuned to be enjoyable. Like you say, like not tuned to perfection.
Yeah.
Like
There's a
it's
buffer.
going to be pretty damn close though to be enjoyable. I think.
Yeah, I think like, and it's unfortunate because like there's so many people out. It's hard. We can only think from like my perspective, right? That's the only
Yeah.
way I can think. And a lot of this stuff literally is just breeze over easy. I'm not a very good WoW player, but I say that, and then like, you know, like 90% of people can't do some of this stuff, which is weird to me. But you know, I've been playing it for like 20 years. So what I'm saying, like I was watching Maximum stream the other day, and he's like on the PTR doing this expansion, this new thing, and I mean, literally the boss is dying in like 2 and 3 seconds.
Yeah, but isn't he like a super high end with a high
Well,
end crew?
they
Yeah,
no,
but Jesus, I mean,
they purposely chose
that
people
is-
to be able to echo that spell that I was talking about, but it's also PTR, so like they gotta we
It
got
hasn't
it
been
wrong. Let's
tuned all
fix
the
it. You
way.
know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that they do, and that the whole, you know, mist thing isn't just a pushover for everyone, you know. And like
Yeah.
I said, yes, these guys are some of the best in the world at the game, and then we're gonna fall in, you know, light years behind them. And then there's the rest of people that are, you know, barely know how to use their keyboard. So I don't know. It's tough to say.
That's what he's talking about, his friend from work.
This one point needs to be made. He actually doesn't use a keyboard. He plays with a joystick. No joke.
Shut up. That's
I'm
not
not
real.
joking. I swear to God.
I mean, it's
swear
impressive.
to
Good for
God.
him.
He's
Yeah.
awesome with it too. So I actually would love to see him play with just his joystick. But anyway, I think like this is something that I think the WoW gaming developing community needs to back off from. Not everyone is going to experience the entire game, and stop trying to make it so that they can. Like, not everyone is going to go do M pluses and do well at it. Not everyone is going to go and be able to do all the raids.
This is genuinely an
Aren't
Asmund gold
good enough
take.
for it. Dude, I think like
Full circle.
He
One thing
literally
that's-
said this like 4 or 5 years ago, or something.
okay, I didn't watch that, but I think it's.
He came up with it himself.
I just remember for me, it was exciting to see that, hey, someone else was good enough to do that, and they got this reward that I'll probably never see because
yeah.
they put in the effort and they were good enough to do it. And I want to be that way.
Based
you
on
know?
the comments from our last episode, I think a lot of people agree with that mentality. It's just how do you strike the balance where it's like, okay, but I'm not gatekeeping.
Yeah, I think the majority of the content needs to be for the majority of the players, but there does need to be stuff in the game that like your top tier player, and I'm not just talking about a reworked dungeon that's bigger numbers scaled harder, which is what mythic rating is versus heroic rating. Anyway,
Well, they add extra mechanics.
we talked about
rating.
this already.
Like a lot of encounters are different in Mythic.
Yeah, but it's not like new and different.
different.
It's like, oh, you same boss, same mechanics plus an affix or whatever, and that's just not exciting enough for me to.
I think that's
I mean, you have
diluted to a degree, but okay.
I don't know. I mean, I've done. I won't say I've done Mythic rating. I've done a couple Mythic bosses here and there with people who are way out of my league and just invite me to make fun of me. Maybe I don't know. Like, but
I think you're playing with a joystick.
Yeah, right. It does feel like a different experience rating Mythic. Like you have to be in a different. Your group has to be a different level of coordination, and the mechanics are considerably make it the fights that I've done considerably harder.
Well,
yeah, and like for me, one of the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
I was gonna say one of the things that always like in classic WoW for me that was exciting was to, they've taken a lot of this away where like I can get a piece of armor from a place that you can't even walk into. Because you just aren't as good as my guild or whatever. And like you're walking around in town and people like that mount that you have or that armor that you have. And now everything is just a colored version. We talked about this last week when we did this thing. It's like, I don't want to walk into Mythic Raid and get the purple version of the red thing that you already own.
I mean, technically.
That's 3 item levels higher. Like it just doesn't do anything for me as far as the reward aspect goes.
Like, how many arena mounts do you have? There is stuff in the game that's not obtainable to you, you know?
Well, okay, but let's frame this differently.
I don't arena.
Yeah.
Let's frame this differently. Would you care that if there were only 3 seasons with 3 raids, right, and nothing, but because the art team had to make a different set of gear that looks different, that slowed down the process of getting new content? Like, for me, I get what you're saying. I fully agree with it. I just think that what's the trade-off for how much longer it's going to take to, even if it's not, like if it's the same raid, but the Mythic players get an entirely different set of gear, they have to make that gear in art. And the 2 artists here can maybe say like that would take good time, right? I mean,
as an artist, I will never talk shit about the WoW art team. They are consistently
they're the best in the world.
Consistently the best in the world. And I'm not one to just like gas up. Like, I'm not no Blizzard simp or whatever. Like, but the art team is always the best. Mm-hmm. You gotta treat your artists right. For me, recolors are fine. Like, I'd rather, and it's not like I like transmogs and mounts and stuff, but like I'm not spending most of my time looking at that. I'm spending most of my time playing the game with my friends. So I'd rather the content be good than have their twice as many transmog sets.
Says the woman who walks into a Mythic dungeon and always says, "Look at my pirate costume."
I love transmog and I love going after, like, the trading post is the best thing in the world, man. It's going to keep me subbed all the way until the next expansion. That's like the only thing, I swear. So like, but I really think like, their art team has already got a lot of stress on it. Like, they're already carrying the whole game on their backs. Like,
all right,
it's fine. We get enough.
Shawnee, close us out with this one question. If people haven't been playing a lot of Dragonflight, would you recommend that they come back now for season 4?
Oh my goodness.
If they haven't been playing a lot.
Like, yeah, let's say they leveled, but they never really got into it after that.
Yeah, for sure.
Which means that the game is still good, right?
I think it is. It's just I played a ton, so I'm less excited for season 4, but I am excited for like the pre-patch for like War Within and stuff when that finally eventually gets around. Yeah, I think it'd be a great time to come back because you like play and then like have a little chill and then pre-patch and you're excited for the new expansion.
Cool. All right, well, we're gonna wrap up with a new segment. We put out a post on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff to ask our fans for a question for the table, and we got one back, so I'm going to pose this question to y'all, and I have a lot of thoughts, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but we'll go on to start.
I have a lot of thoughts too.
So Mizzy MK1475 asks, what's the hardest part about juggling real life commitments with raid schedule and in our YouTube podcast, etc.? So Scrap, you know what the question was. I'll ask you first so you can let the other two think for a second.
Yeah, the hardest part about balancing like real life and playing WoW is not sleeping. Like, because I will like sacrifice food, sleep, everything to play more WoW. So that's a huge problem for me personally. I said before, I have like that problem with like game addiction and stuff like that. Just like once I start playing it, you know me, I'm always the last one up, but I'm always like, we can't go out on a loss, we can't go out on this. Like you just can't go out on a win, can't go out on a loss.
I'm 1
can't
point
go out.
away.
That's like my catchphrase, just like can't go out. But like, so it's a huge problem for me, especially at the beginning of the season. You know, where it's like I want to get Keystone Master before my friends. I want to hit 3K before Frank does because it's gonna make him so mad. You know, like
Tell
I
everyone
will
how mad you were that
sacrifice-
my subtitle last week was first to 3,000.
You mentioned something about comments that upset you or whatever, and I got a lot of like misogynistic comments from the extra eyes we have. I want to be clear, I never thought anybody would see this podcast.
Yeah,
But
me.
misogynistic comments didn't get me. The one comment that upset me is somebody says she probably is like has 1400 IO, and that just shows you how fucking toxic I am, because I was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like that number is like, it's so stupid, but it's so important to me, you know. And so I will sacrifice
What was
sleep.
the number?
So
We gotta tell the audience. What
it doesn't matter what the number is. I got to 3100 last season, and I
did great.
won higher than all of you guys, I'm pretty sure. And I hit 3K before anybody else did, including Frank, who was sacrificing every waking hour.
I put that tagline up a little too early because I was 1 point away. I was like, I'll get it. And then you stayed up till 6 a.m. or whatever.
I only needed one more dungeon to clean it up. He put in more time than me too. I was firing all cylinders. Okay, so anyway, I have a problem with managing my sleep. That's it. That's pretty much it. I don't know how to give advice on that. My advice would be like, chill. It doesn't really matter if your friend hits 3K before you. What are they gonna do? Like brag about it for the rest of your life? They will. I'm still talking about it, but like, yeah, that's tough.
Shawnee, what about raid? Like, does that interfere with planning and all that stuff with your wife and whatnot?
It would if I didn't have an amazing wife, but I put it in the calendar that like Tuesdays and Thursdays are raid nights, like Mondays Mario Kart, Wednesdays Mythic Plus. Like, yeah, it the hardest part is just finding time for everything I want to do.
Yeah,
I'd say like I'm like Scrap. I'll give up sleep. I have the same kind of hours as Scrap, so like, yeah, I'll stay up till 5 and be like, I don't have to work till noon. So, and I'll draw my tattoo before I go to work.
Yep.
Tech.
Or show up and be like, oh, dude, I didn't get your email.
Yeah.
All right, Technique.
I gotta mirror some of that stuff Shani said, man. I'm very lucky that like, my household is supportive of my little gaming shindig, you know, the things that we do on the computer a lot. And you know, so the wife, she's super supportive. Basically, I think it's important that you find a community of people that you enjoy playing with on a schedule that you're able to play. That's important. You know, like you guys, I love playing with you guys, and luckily our raid times line up with my life in a way that it doesn't stress me whatsoever to like sit down at 9 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, because I know that everything else is handled and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
So yeah, just, you know, I mean, as far as advice goes, I don't know if advice was asked for, but don't move life around for WoW. Like sleep, I'll shift around. But you know, like I'm not gonna like walk on work commitments or friend commitments over the game.
What are you talking about? You keep canceling me on Saturday night. You didn't even go to your birthday party.
Not for the game though. Buddy.
I want to say
just didn't want to see me.
Yeah, I want to say to our asker, like, we're not the best people to ask about this, because I don't think any of us.
No, I have a ton to say on this, especially.
Go on and say it then.
Well, no, I wanted to hear y'all's takes because, you know, as the only one with young children, I know you guys, Tech and Shani, have kids, but it is. I remember, and I hate to say this, it's tough to admit, like the week before my first daughter was born, right? My first kid was born. I was playing BFA, I think, at the time, and I just said, like, I'm never going to be able to do this again. I'm never going to be able to play till 2 a.m. I'm never going to be able to, you know, play all weekend long or whatever. And while the weekend part is true, I gotta be honest, I play a ton of WoW, and honestly games in general, considering, I'm a father of 2 young kids.
I'd like to point out you are a great dad, though, because you tell us all the stuff you do. So it's not like you abandon your kids to play games.
Well, and to the point where my daughter now will come in and ask me, she wants to play Alex Straza because she loves like the idea of dragon riding and she sees me do it. But I only play when they're on their naps or only play when they're asleep. But like honestly, the harder part is like they're fine, they're resilient, yada yada yada. It's my wife who gets the credit, right? Like now, granted, she's a nurse anesthetist, so she works like early hours, so she's ready to go to bed by 9. So that's why I set our raid time at 9 o'clock, and I can't move it up any earlier because I can't even get the kids to bed on time like that. But it's not even that was like so jarring. It like I kind of grew into it as the kids grew up, and my wife again is very supportive of that. It's the Misty, I think was the name, whatever, the question asker said, like, how do you balance also this idea of the YouTube content? And that was the part where I was like, well, shit. I'm an older WoW player, right? Like, I mean, I think some of the streamers are joking that they're turning 30, but I'm 37 now. And yeah, you're older and Tech's older. But the point is that if I didn't have kids, I would be making so much more content for YouTube now because this, like, I didn't get into it really until COVID and all that stuff. But like we have our games, right? We have our MDL styled games. And I think we'd do more of them if I had more availability to kind of plan them and put them together and edit them or whatever it may be, right? I also think like the guides that I made some guides for, I think it was season 1 of Dragonflight.
Oh, like Keystone Kindergarten.
Yeah, Keystone Kindergarten. I think I'd be making a ton more content. And the truth is, I wouldn't care if anyone was watching it because I just love the idea of the content creation itself. But I'd be making a ton more of that stuff, kind of following in the footsteps of Quasi and Dratnos and Tettles and all them. Even though I don't think anyone would be listening. So like that's where I'm most impacted. I'm okay with it, but I do kind of think like, man, if I really had the time to make all that stuff, like how cool could I make it? How much fun and enjoyable. But to say that I would trade any of it for my kids, no. Like as much as I miss even more gaming time, like being able to play from Friday night to Sunday night nonstop, I would never trade it for my kids. I would like they are 100 million% way more entertaining and way more fun. But this is my outlet for finding, stress relief after they pushed all my buttons throughout the day, and then I come to see you 3, and then Lithian and all of them literally testing every single button you can push to make me lose my goddamn mind.
I love how your stress relief is just like everyone else trying to stress you out. They're like the moment you show a crack, they are on it.
I'm like, hey, I want to make a podcast. And then Scrap says, oh yeah, but you're a shit arcane mage. And then I have to try to find to defend myself in the comments of someone's Twitch stream.
The people need to know.
I would say to y'all's point, and I think the biggest takeaway I would take from it is the community. I think if we didn't have this Discord, if we didn't have this Mythic Dungeon League, I wouldn't be playing WoW certainly as much. I wouldn't be having near as much fun playing WoW. And, maybe I'd play a little more Dota instead, but like I wouldn't be playing nearly as much. I'd probably be watching more TV, which I don't like watching TV that much. Like it just, I can't sit still for that long and like not engage with it that well. So yeah, I think this is my outlet for stress. This is my outlet for, honestly, it's my social outlet, right? Yeah. Like I'm talking to you guys more than I talk to my brothers or sisters, my mom or whatever. And I feel like, my wife knows Tuesday, Thursday's raid night and Monday night's Mario Kart. And she asks for the other nights and sometimes I give them, sometimes I don't, but that's usually because she falls asleep right away. So I'm like, cool, I can go play.
Yeah. You and I both have that benefit of our significant other goes to bed early. So I can be degenerate all night.
Like, when my wife goes to bed because I got to go say goodnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You started the podcast off, pre-show with it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got to write. No, I will say, though, the other thing is I'm like scrapping. I want any game I play to feel like a crack addiction to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
want that. I can't control it, though.
I want that, though.
But it feels so good, Joe Rogan.
It feels bad. I need sleep.
No, I want that. If I don't go to bed thinking about the game I was playing, I'm like, not that interested.
Yeah, I can put that down.
I want to go to in spare time look up stuff for the game I'm playing.
For me, it's I want to be at work thinking about I can't wait to get home and start playing again.
Yeah.
I can't be fucking normal about any game. I was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, a game that I've played like for 30 years, and like I was up until 5 in the morning fucking
There's
playing
nothing
it the
wrong
other
with
day.
that, though.
No, it is something wrong with it. There's something wrong.
I mean, other
with it.
than losing
It's good
sleep
for my
part.
sleep. Losing sleep, yeah, it's not healthy. But yeah, no, I wish I had a way to manage that. But I like that I get to do it. At least WoW is social, you know.
You can
That's pretty
roller
good.
coaster with us while you roller coaster. Someone hell dies. Someone dotas.
I mean, sometimes I'll pop in for that, but yeah, no, I mean, I will say just to, I don't want to like just jump on your point, Frank, and just say all the same shit. But this is like the longest I've played WoW with like a single group, throughout all
The
these
most I've
lulls and
accomplished,
content.
too.
Yeah, and like, yeah, we stick together, and so it's cool. We have a tight little community. We have people come in, people come out, like people who are way fucking above our skill level who like us for some reason and come in and do keys with us every now and then people who are like on the lower end who
Haywire
we can
guy.
hang out with.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
Haywire.
Haywire, but
He's so good. Best
I
WoW
love
player.
Haywire. You know what? I love Haywire. I love Flux just because he's got the best jokes.
Okay.
for adding all these new
Why are y'all
characters in.
kissing asses here?
I don't know. Flux doesn't even fucking play this game, but
Because last time all we did was dump on Leo, who I love and is on my Mario Kart
I don't even feel
team.
like we dumped on him. I love having him in the
We
raid.
kinda did.
I'd fight for him to be in the raid.
I know, but it is funny.
I
We
know
do
you
use
do.
him as our casual example because he's like our token casual. Like,
Well, he's the most
you know,
extreme version of it. Like I jokingly asked him if he were to come on the podcast or any podcast about WoW, he'd be like, "Oh my god, like I would have the worst takes ever," and you know.
I think we need to have him as a guest if he continues to be like a character that people
Yeah,
care about.
they
Like
have to
people
meet him.
need to hear Leo's takes because if we're like more casual than Max, he's like more casual than us, so he's gonna have like completely different takes. He
I
was
love
spitting
Leo's
in
takes.
Discord some like bullshit that I was just like, who in the world
Yeah,
would
he
have
loves-
this take, Leo? What the hell?
He loves fishing and he loves
I
the
have a hard time
questing.
keeping up with his communication.
He loves
style, man.
fishing. Like, bro, who loves fish? Get out of here. Like, he would be a fun guest if we have something really like next time Asmon says some shit and we have to be okay. Let's see what Leo thinks and we bring him in as a side
Leo's
guest or
corner, and it's
whatever.
just gonna be one soundbite of him saying something absolutely insane.
Yeah, then you guys will understand.
All right. Well, I will to I think put a pin on the answer to the question. I think it's the community. I really think like we wouldn't all be doing this nearly as much if it weren't for the fact that we love playing with each other. And I will use this to transition back real quick to the website. Please, mythicdungeonleague.com. You can find our Discord link there. We invite you to the community. Honestly, if I'm not busy with the kids on the weekends or whatever, and you say, hey, I need a plus 10 or a plus 2, I'll probably say, yeah, I'll jump in and help you. And I'm sure these guys would all agree. That's the kind of community we want to build, and hopefully you can come and join it. So if you're looking for something like that, and if you're looking for a raid, we just opened up our raid signups for season 4. So come in and join us. With that, any other last thoughts you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we managed to actually keep it under like 3 hours.
You
so
said,
good on us.
yeah, you said you wouldn't
I was
beat the
talking shit.
time.
I was like, "There's no way we're gonna have it done by the time that technique was like I gotta go to bed." I was like, "Absolutely fucking not!" And yeah, you proved us wrong. We're well under the deadline.
In fairness, it was a team effort, community.
You know,
I'm
I like this. I
excited
prefer
for-
the tighter, like content. So.
Yeah.
I'm excited for our preseason 4 MDL event. I'm hoping we get that off the ground and
If-
running before.
If you want to give a quick sentence elevator pitch, so if anyone sees it, maybe we can get some people to sign up for it on the Discord.
How many people can we have in here? I'm hoping to do just a competitive, like, Mythic Dungeon 5v5 race, MDI style, sort of, kind of. But during the race, we'll be doing Cards Against Humanity style answers and questions with our audience watching the live stream, voting on who they think had the best answer, and those answers will then give points to our racers.
Or
So anyway,
penalize, yeah.
Or penalize them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. We still got some kinks to work out and kind of how it's going to play out. But yeah, we're hoping to bring that to us and have a good time doing it.
All right. Shawnee, any last words?
I will play with whoever wants to play this Mr. Pandaria thing.
Yeah.
I'll level with them. I don't care where, when.
We'll have a
I
raid
will-
team for it.
Yeah, I will raid that anytime anyone wants. I love it. Can't wait.
Scrap?
No, I already gave my final takes. I'm done.
Okay.
I
Well-
think it went great. I like the news. I think the news is fun. Yeah.
We're going to have a lot to
I
talk
think we
about, I
kept
think,
it-
in the next coming, months.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely. I want to do like a breakdown of how we feel about the new mythic scaling once we
Mhm.
actually get a chance to check it out. Because I have a lot of like pre-opinions about that, but it's like I'm just talking out of my ass because I actually don't know if I should be mad about it yet or not. So I'll keep those opinions locked in until we actually try it.
Well, just to bring it home, I do want to say thank you again to everyone who's joined the community, both on YouTube, Twitch, and our Discord and the website, however you want to interact with us. We love the feedback. Keep it coming. We'll try not to take it personal that you called me a Make-A-Wish Bradley Cooper. And outside of that, we hope you guys continue to listen to the podcast. We just added Apple Podcasts, so if you prefer Apple, finally got that working, and Spotify, of course, and YouTube, and mythicdungeonleague.com. Thank you again, everyone. We'll see you next time for Around the Mage Table.